Where are you watching this video from right now? Your house, right? Do you know why at your house right now? Because of the coronavirus. Americans aren't taking this virus as seriously as they need to be. The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, had been reported by the World Health Organization on December 31st, 2019 by Wuhan, China. In the United States, the first case appeared on January 23rd, 2020. Now the US has over 200,000 cases and counting, which makes them the most by any country. State by state in the US, people have been put on a statewide shelter-in-place order. Because of this, some citizens have become irrational and stocked up on groceries, and essential workers are pushed to their limits. All of us together, as we reside in the US, need to take this virus seriously and help ourselves understand COVID-19 better by knowing the symptoms, the reason for quarantine, and the unsettling statistics that can help us prevent the spread of the virus. First is learning and fully understanding why we quarantine and where this virus has originated from. The direct definition of coronavirus is that coronaviruses are large families that can cause illness ranging widely in severity. The first severe illness related to coronaviruses were severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. It appeared in 2003 in China. In 2012, the second outbreak began in Saudi Arabia, which is known as the Middle East Respiratory System. Over the years from 2003, when it first developed, to 2012, and now in 2020, the strain of coronavirus has naturally evolved. In the U.S., during the middle of March, mostly all states had gone into a shelter-in-place order and obligated to self-isolate. The difference between quarantine, self-isolation, and social distancing are simple. The first step in preventing the spread is social distancing. Social distancing means to only go outside when it is essential, such as going to doctor's appointments, etc. Not being selfish and going to hang out. The more people you're around, the higher chances you are of getting it or passing it on to someone. Self-isolation is the second step. This is when a person thinks they have come in contact with someone who is infected and self-isolates themselves for 14 days to see if symptoms arise. Quarantine is the most severe, which means you are infected and do show symptoms. Essentially, this person should either be in a hospital or trying to recover in a space where they cannot pass it on to anyone else. Now that we know the main preventions and where it originated, we can discuss the symptoms. The symptoms of COVID-19 are closely related to influenza, the flu. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, have developed a test that you could take virtually and see how at risk you are. The coronavirus is directly related to respiratory diseases, so smokers, people with asthma, lung deficiencies, the elderly, and others with underlying health conditions are at the most risk of experiencing symptoms and even dying from the virus. Younger people can be carriers, but also asymptomatic, which means that their immune systems are stronger, younger, and healthier. The most common symptoms of COVID-19 are cough, fever, tiredness, and shortness of breath. As said before, these are all closely related to the flu, and some people have even documented their day-by-day experience after testing positive. On top of the main symptoms of fever, shortness of breath, and unusual symptoms such as insomnia or pink eye can indicate early signs of COVID-19. The statistics of the cases in the U.S. are unsettling, as we are the leading country with the most infections, and this is only at the beginning of what is to come. Worldwide, there are now over 1 million cases and people testing positive and 5,200 confirmed deaths, which give us a 5% death rate. America holds over 200,000 of these cases and 6,000 deaths and counting. In America, New York has over 92,000 cases, which makes them the third highest in the world itself and highest county in the U.S. Now, New York is facing problems with the overload of patients that need treatment. Nurses, doctors, and sanitation workers are risking their lives daily. As the cases are continuously being counted, the hospitals are running out of resources to help those who are sick. In the U.S., only 0.2% of the population in America has been tested. In the U.S., there is a 2% death rate. Hypothetically, if everyone was tested, that could potentially lead to 6 million people dying of this virus. This barely scratches the surface of the damage this virus can have on the world. To prevent this from continuing, follow the safety measures that the CDC, WHO, and general hospitals have put out as a precaution. Now learning about the original symptoms, statistics, and self-quarantining, We all know how and why we need to prevent the virus from stopping. Staying at home, keeping your distance, washing your hands, disinfecting your house with disinfectant wipes, covering your mouth when you cough, not touching your face constantly, and if you are feeling sick or unwell, isolate. COVID-19 is extremely serious, and following these tips to stay healthy will flatten the curve and save those that you